You guys asked for it, so let's talk about the brand new Tirua in much detail.
Stand up! Vanguard!
Hey Cardfighters, welcome back to another extra edition of Cardfight Update, and today I want to talk about some extra Bermuda Triangle cards that were revealed last week, but I didn't really have the time to talk about them in depthly in the correct video. And that's of course the brand new Tirua as well as a Grade 1 support card, and today I want to go into those particular cards as they bring something very interesting to the table, as this new Tirua was a original G-era boss unit to the Choo-Choo archetype, but this time around she takes a more backup role as a supporting Grade 3 for the upcoming Ange build and plays a very important part in the upcoming Ange Highlander deck. So without further ado, let's talk about the debut of Tirua with Choo-Choo debut stage Tirua. And Tirua has the following abilities. Auto and Vanguard Circle. When placed, choose any number of any player's normal units on Rearguard Circle and return them to the hand. If 3 or more cards were returned, this unit gets power plus 15k until the end of turn. So just like Ange, she allows you to bounce back cards. So this means at least whatever Grade 3 we write, if we play this as a support card for Ange, we will always be able to bounce our own cards and potentially our opponent's cards. So this gives us more field control as well as the reusage of powerful rearguard on place effects. But this skill is very important because of Tirua's second ability, which is Auto and Vanguard the Rearguard Circle. Once a turn, at the end of the battle it attacked, if 3 or more of any player's rearguards were returned to the hand this turn, cost counter plus 1 and discard a card from your hand. Stand this unit and it gets drive -1 until the end of turn. So we have a restandable unit that can either be on a Vanguard Circle as well on a Rearguard Circle. And this is very powerful, and this also explains why Tirua herself has the bounce effect. Because this means no matter if we write Ange or we write Tirua, we can resolve this skill. So we always have a restandable unit on the side columns, whatever our Vanguard might be. And if she is the Vanguard herself, that means we have a restandable Vanguard that can supply her own condition. And it is a restandable Vanguard that doesn't minus you on hand size because you discard one, but you will get it back with the drive check that you get for the second attack. So you actually gain free value that only costs you the counterblast itself. And seen as if she's your Vanguard, she is a powerful 28k beater that can be higher with more Force 1 markers you can put under it. So this in itself already shows that Tirua can be a pretty useful card because it increases the amount of attacks you will have in the Force clan. But things get more insane once we take a look at Ange herself and when we take a look at the reindeer engine. First, let's go over the Ange interaction because that's the main card where this card is supposed to synergize with. Ange has the Vanguard skill that allows us on attack to bounce our field or our opponent's field and gain extra force marker, extra power, but more importantly, it allows us to superior call any card from our deck. So what we can do with Ange is we can attack with our side columns, then we attack with Ange herself, we superior call a Tirua to the field, and that Tirua can restand once again. So we get 2 extra attacks out of that superior call we get from Ange herself. And because we generate more force markers, we can easily empower that unit to a good sizable number. And interesting enough, for that ability, we only need to bounce 4 units back. So what we potentially can do is bounce back 1 column, bounce back the booster behind the Vanguard, and the other front row unit. But we can also, instead of bouncing the booster behind the Vanguard, maybe one of our opponent's units. This then allows us to keep 1 unit standing in the column where we're going to call that Tirua, allowing us to have 1 swing and then 1 swing boosted for the maximum power potential. But that's just in the Ange build. When we look at Reindeer, we get 2 more additional options for the superior right. Because first off, we can attack with Reindeer and then superior right into a Tirua, which will bounce back our board, and then we can restand the Tirua for 3 Vanguard attacks while generating 2 force markers in that particular turn. But we can even add another layer on top of that, because we can go from Reindeer into Ange, and then once we attack with Ange, we bounce back our board, and then superior call that Tirua to the field to have 2 more Vanguard swings. and in that particular turn, we will create 3 force markers on the offensive itself. And in both cases, we get 1 more force marker the moment we ride back into the reindeer. So in total, for just a Tirua ride, we get 3 force markers. And in Ange's case, we get 4 force markers in one single turn while applying multi-attacks, which is pretty good for the Highlander build, because this gives even more high roll potential to the whole engine, but the high roll itself also becomes more consistent because we have more and more strong targets to hit. But of course, this wasn't the only reveals that we've got for Ange, or in this case Tirua, because we also have the Great Range Supporter card, which is Quiet, Temperament, Katja. And Katja has the following abilities: continuous rearguard circle. During a turn, if any player's rearguard was returned to the hand this turn, this unit gets power plus 5k. So this allows Ange or Tirua to get access to a solid 13k booster. And this also synergizes really nicely with the combo play that I explained, where we can call the Tirua to the side column while keeping that boosting onto the field, so we can boost for the second attack to have a strong finishing attack. And a 13k booster is pretty solid on that part. But we got even more options and more consistency plays, as we have a secondary ability, which is Auto and Rearguard Circle. At the end of the battle, it boosted. If you have a Vanguard with Tirua and its card name cost Soul Blast 1, return all of your rearguards in the same column as this unit to your hand. Now this is very important in the case where we ride Tirua and we cannot rewrite the following turn. In order to do the restand, we need to be able to bounce back multiple cards in that particular turn in order to fulfill for the condition. If we cannot ride the Tirua or go into an Ange, we're stuck. So this grade 1 allows us to even use that Tirua turn after turn, as long as we have access to this grade 1. Because this grade 1 allows us to bounce back an entire column, which are 2 units. Now if we also have access to Aqua, we can increase that number to 3, which is the magic number that we need for Tirua. So what the idea is, we call the Aqua, we bounce back a card, and then we call the Katja in the same column of the Aqua, and then at the end of the battle it boosts the Aqua, you bounce back both those cards safely to your hand, and next turn you can do that again to fulfill for the Tirua condition each and every single time. And this also means that this Bermuda Triangle deck also gets a bit more protection, as we can keep our board safely in our hand against certain control decks. So having the option to not only bounce back our units for more unplaced shenanigans, so we get more value out of our units, but also the ability to safely return them into our hand before it's our opponent's turn, gives this deck quite a lot of sustainability, but also a lot of consistency the moment it gets its key pieces, as there isn't really a way to stop them besides then of course dealing them the 6 damage. But that's sometimes easier said than done. Now with these 2 reveals, it's very clear what the potential is going to be for the Ange build, but it's isn't very clear of what the potential is of Reindeer, because as we've seen, every single reveal just puts another layer on top of that Highlander build, and already it shows a lot of promise. Now the very interesting question is, are we going to see even more? And there is a possibility, but even if it isn't the case in this particular set, there's a highly likely chance that once we get yet another Bermuda Triangle support, Highlander could be put to its breaking point and actually become top tier. But with that said, we basically covered all the cards that I want to talk about today. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of this new Tirua support card for Ange, as well as the potential within the Highlander build, and the grade 1 that just adds another layer on top of Tirua, which is also yet another layer on top of Ange. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, this video has been brought to you by our lovely patrons over at patreon.com/VanguardInsider. You guys are amazing. If you do want to support the channel or everything that's happening on the channel, you can simply go to patreon.com/VanguardInsider and become a Patreon today. But with that said, I'm Mr. Timeleaf, and I see you guys in the next one!